Hey folks, it's Coach Mas here again, and we're here for another episode in Transformation Tuesdays. And remember, we continue to share real people who are getting real results in their business. And our guest today is Paula Roper Bacchas, and she's the CEO and founder of Paula Sells Jamaica. Now, Paula, I'm really delighted to have you on our session today. How are you?
I'm doing well, Marcia. I'm glad to be here.
Folks, I want to say that Paula is such an amazing young lady. I actually met Paula many years ago when I was coaching my first client, but she'll tell you more about her story. But one thing I can tell you about Paula is that she loves to learn and she takes action. So our founder of Action Coach Brad Sugars would be very, very impressed with Paula. So Paula, I know that where you are now has been a journey. And I've watched you as a young lady. Johnny Simmons Fisher in our first interview said we have to summon the courage to do what we need to do. And I can say that's something that applies to you. So, Paula, what I want to first ask you is how did you get started in your business? How did Paula Sells Jamaica start?
I have a very, very funny story. It actually goes back to 2013. I was working at as a paralegal at a law firm in Kingston, and it wasn't going well. My boss was not someone you would want to work for. So, just to say it in the lightest terms. And I decided one day I was not feeling well, and I was like, I need to take a day off. So, I took a day off. And when I was home on the day off, I said, I don't want to go back. So I sent in my resignation letter on that day, and I decided to apply to the University of the West, University of Technology. That is where the real estate course was being done at the time, and I got acceptance that same day. I decided to quit my job, and I just submitted my resignation and started out in real estate. I went and did the course at the University of Technology. And within, I want to say, 3 4 months, I was fully licensed as a salesman, and I started my journey in real estate. You're muted.
Oh, well, oh, yeah, you see that? How can I be doing an interview and muting myself? All right, folks. So, Paula, that was how you started in
Hmm.
real estate. But how did you now get started into Paula Sells Jamaica?
Okay, yes. Okay, so it's another long story. I was not happy. I according to Brad Sugar, when I read his book, I was just not an employee. I just never had the employee mentality. So real estate, when you're a real estate salesman, you are classified as an independent contractor, but you have to work underneath a real estate dealer in order to practice legally in Jamaica. So what happened? I was at my second from I was at my first real estate company to my second one. I was only at two before I started Paula Sells Jamaica. But the first day at my first company, she told us that we have to brand ourselves. We have to sell ourselves. We have to be a brand. So on that first day of training, Paula Sells Jamaica was born. I added and changed a lot of stuff over the years, but Paula Sells Jamaica has always been Paula Sells Jamaica from day one when I started to brand myself. So at my second real estate company now, about there's a delivery guy coming through. Sorry.
No
But
problem. Hmm.
yeah, so the second real estate company I was at, I just never had that employee mindset, even though I was a independent contractor. So I decided that I wanted to do the dealers course, which is the real estate dealers course being done at the institute the Real Estate Institute in Jamaica, in Kingston. So I decided to go through that process in 2018. After you complete the course, it's like a 6 to 8 month course. After you complete the course, you are have to do a 1 year attachment to your current dealer where she trains you into becoming a dealer. It took me 18 months because there's a certain amount of sales and rentals you have to do within that period. And midway through my attachment, the pandemic hit. So a lot of sales were delayed. So it ended up stretching out my timeline from 1 year to 18 months. So once I had completed the amount of sales I needed, I submitted my application to the Real Estate Board of Jamaica, and my dealer's license was approved. That was in September 2020. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I called the real estate board at 9 o'clock. The board meeting to approve me was 7 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock the night before. And I called at 9 o'clock. I called my current dealer at that time at 9:01 to let her know that I was submitting my resignation and I was going to start Paula Sells Jamaica because I was just waiting on that approval. Action Coach has everything to do with me because I'm an action person. I want to know the steps to get something done. And once I think I have the steps down, I'm gone. Sometimes I don't even think I have the steps down, but I just go and I say, you know what, I'll figure it out on my way. On my way. I just need enough to start and I'm gone. So 9:01, I resigned from my current broker that is in September. I think it was like September 23rd, 2020. Applied to the Companies Office of Jamaica to register my company. Bearing in mind, I had all of these documents while I was waiting on approval, organizing. So I got approval, I think the 14th of November, and I was on my way. I think I called Action Coach about sometime in the November, and you guys had some programs doing, and I enrolled in all of those programs and started to get the ball churning. So that is
Wow.
how Paula Sells Jamaican Associates was born, November the 14th, 2020. I had my dealer's license. I got my dealer's license issued, I think it was October. So after you get the approval, you still have to wait a few weeks to get the physical license. And then in order to register your company, Companies Office of Jamaica, you have to submit that license. So there was like a 6-week delay period from when I actually got the approval to when I could register my company, get my license, register my company and everything. But all that time, I was setting everything into motion that once I hit this mark, I know the next jump that I need to make. I hit that mark, I jump again. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
You know, folks, I'm smiling from ear to ear because I watched her go through this journey. I became a coach 11 years ago because this is what I love to do. I want to help our SMEs, our entrepreneurs succeed. And you know, stories like this of courage, of determination, Paula exemplifies that. You know, what she does is she believes so much. She said, I don't want to be an employee, I want to be a business owner. I'm going to do this. And you hear her journey is one where she took every step with faith and courage. But at the same time, what Paul is saying is, I want to learn. She is, Brad Sugars, I'm going to send this to you because one of the things with Paula is that she's going to read every single thing that she can. Paula, show them your stack of books. Paula has been just getting she just keeps reading Brad Sugars, all your books, and she just keeps going. She's going for courses. Thank you. And when Paula reads, you know, it's not just read like some people do just because the coach assigned it. No. Paula is reading every sentence. Paula is doing everything. When you hear her talk, she's saying Brad Sugar said this in instant advertising. and I'm going to do it. One thing Paula said is I take action. And I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you, for everything Paula learns, she's going to try it. Every single strategy, she's going to
Everything.
try it and she's going to test and measure. You know, so I really want to say, Paula,
Mm-hmm.
you're an inspiration. You know, just seeing you fight in the midst of the pandemic. Yes, people would have probably given up. Okay, now the pandemic hit, everything has now been slowed down, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't. You said, listen, I'm still gonna do this. And in 2020, Paula Sells Jamaica fully was launched. And so
Yes.
I'm really proud of you. And this is a story. And what I want you to hear, folks, in this story, as I said, is her courage and determination. So, Paula, who is your target audience? You know, what exactly do you specialize in any area of real estate? And who is your target audience?
Okay, so my avatar, or so that we like to call it, my person that I focus on, they tend to be persons between the age of 40 to 70 years old, because I deal with a lot of business executives that want to move up to, they already purchased their starter home, and now, because they've moved up in their careers and so forth, they want to expand. They want to maybe change the neighborhood, go to a nicer neighborhood with a bigger house for the children to have the yard space and all of that. So I focus on those persons. They tend to be between 40 to around 50 at that point. And then I also focus on the empty nesters, who tend to be 50 to about 60, 65, that their children have grown up, that they're ready to, downsize a bit. So I really help those persons to sell. So the 40 to 50, I help them to sell and buy, to upgrade themselves. And the 50 to around 60, 65, I help those persons who want to downsize, who want to sell this big house that they had upgraded to after having it for 10 years or so. And then they want to get a smaller home. Sometimes they get a condo or an apartment or a townhouse, maybe away from the town a bit, and back to a simpler life. Is the dog bothering you? It,
No.
okay.
So, Paula,
Okay.
as I listen to you,
Mhm.
as I listen to you, I want you all to hear people. Paula knows her target market. She has described it very carefully. This is something that we need to be clear on. Who is our market? Who is it that we're targeting? And she knows why and what. So she's being
Mhm.
very specific about this. Now I know, Paula, also that you deal with the or diaspora, some of the people overseas
Yes.
who want to
Yes.
purchase. How do they know about you? What have you been doing to get their attention? Let's hear some of the things that you do.
Okay, just to finish up, I also deal with
Okay.
the diaspora.
Oh, she
So
has more. Hmm.
yeah, they tend to be around 50 to 70 years old. They live overseas. They've been living overseas for many years. They've worked, they're saved. They maybe had accumulated properties in America, Canada, USA, and now they want to sell and return back home. So I tend to deal with a lot of those persons as well. So how I normally get in touch with my persons, I have over 200 different advertising ways that I use in my business, but I have narrowed it down to 10 specific ways that I do. And you were talking about Brad Sugar's instant advertising earlier, and I want to bring a quote from that book, which says that majority of our advertisements will fail. So we have to test
Hmm.
and measure to see which ones are working, so that we can focus in on those ones, so that we can increase our results. So that is what I did for many years. I tested and measured, and I found 10 really solid ways that keep on bringing me business. So number one out of all of them, I have to tell you, is LinkedIn. um I talk about LinkedIn every day, and some people look at me and question sometimes my sanity, because they're like, how do you use LinkedIn to make money? And I said, it's so easy. LinkedIn, I'm going to tell you, from the pandemic started, LinkedIn has been my major source of getting business, sellers and buyers, locally and internationally. I have been going about my business and I get calls. People want me to sell their houses, or whatever it is, through LinkedIn. People I've never spoken to, people who were not even connected, that have somehow, some way come across me on LinkedIn, that they can see I have about 30 something recommendation, and majority of those persons are persons I had met on LinkedIn, that I somehow we formed a relationship, and we did business together, and it was good, and they tend to continually give me business. And because I work well with their people, I get it. Just it's like every it's just over and over. So LinkedIn is my number one, and YouTube is my number two. So I have a YouTube channel that every week on Sundays at 9 a.m. I do a video for my YouTube channel, and I put it out there. So the key with YouTube is to have a set day and time that you release a video, so that persons know that every Sunday at 9 a.m. they can turn on their YouTube, and I will be there with a new video for them. So when I do that, I have a lot of persons who find me on YouTube, because I think in Jamaica, I can't speak for anywhere else, but in Jamaica, a lot of real estate agents do not utilize, number one, they do not utilize LinkedIn. Number two, they do not utilize YouTube, because those are two of the hardest social medias to use. In my humble opinion, they're very difficult, and you're not going to just stumble upon discovering how to use them. It comes with consistency, it comes with a heap of patience, and it comes with knowing what to do. And the only way how you can know that is test and measure. If you do something and it doesn't work out, you just have to try something else and see what works out. So my YouTube channel, I started YouTube and LinkedIn around 2014, when I got into real estate, but I focused more on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn I got better quality leads over
Mhm.
YouTube. So I was, because YouTube is a long game. LinkedIn is a long game too, but YouTube is an even longer game. So to get the momentum going on YouTube was very, very difficult. I don't even think I'm halfway on the momentum train on YouTube, but everybody needs to remember that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and
Mhm.
it is owned by the first largest search engine in the world, which is Google. So if you can get your videos to rank on YouTube, they will also rank on Google. So if someone goes into Google and they search real estate in Jamaica,
Mhm.
sometimes, not all the time, I will appear. Like if they search something that I have specifically spoken about, or an area or property that matches their description, I will surface. And that's how I get a lot of my business. So more and more as the time progresses, I'm getting better and better at YouTube. And every day is, you have to try and try and try, and it gets better. So YouTube, and also what I wanted to measure, I wanted to mention Facebook and Instagram. Yes, I do focus on those as well as to get exposure, but you must remember that Facebook and Instagram are paid. are paid. You're, even if somebody follows your Facebook and Instagram page, you are not going to just automatically surface to them if you don't pay some money, right? Yes, you'll surface every now and then to people that follow your pages, but you're not going to consistently surface unless you pay money to them. So how I have been able to bootstrap my business and spend a little less money than a lot of the bigger companies in Jamaica, because there's a lot of big real estate companies in Jamaica. I'm a very, very small company compared to all of these bigger companies that are have the budgets to run these big Facebook ads or these big Instagram ads. So I decided to focus on areas that are not being focused on a lot by those bigger companies, which are LinkedIn and YouTube, because yes, you can pay to run ads on these platforms, but I find that when it's very difficult to, even with paid ads, to get traction on the LinkedIn and YouTube. So you have to just know your game when it comes to those platforms. You can't bypass the game like Facebook and Instagram with money. So that is how I, those two, number one and number two, which is LinkedIn and YouTube, those are my two big ways that I really get exposure. Before the pandemic, I used to do a lot of networking. I used to go to any networking event that I found,
I
whether it
know.
whether it was being done by PSOJ, Action Coach, I was mingling, I was talking to the people, introducing myself. I was like, they might forget me anyways. Even if they don't want to talk to me, you have to you just have to, like, when you have your business and you need to promote it, you have to make up your mind, and you're going to say to yourself, is am I gonna feel ashamed if this person, shuns me or something? And you just have to, like, just dust it off and go. Like, if you go up to talk to somebody and they don't want to talk to you, say, "Oh, well, nice meeting you," and you just go to the next one. Every no gets you closer to a yes. Every no
Oh,
gets you closer
Paula,
to a
Paula,
yes.
Paula, Paula. Guys, I hope you know what you're getting here is gold. Paula is giving you real life. You hear how much marketing strategies she said she had? Over 200. And then she tested and measured and no, and then she went down to 10. And then she continues to test and measure so she know what worked. You hear her saying?
Mhm.
Quality leads. She knows how much she pays for the leads. You have soaked up instant advertising. You have
Yes.
gotten Brad Sugars is into your brain. But what you are hearing is a young lady who understands marketing. That you have got to, even she says before the pandemic, she was networking. Now that you can't do it and we're in a pandemic, she's found other ways.
Mhm.
So, really, what I want you to hear, folks, is she knows her target market and she says, how do I find them? What strategies will I use? How do I develop the relationship? She knows she needs to give great service and then they will keep
Mhm.
referring others to her. So Paula, I really have to say, listen, man, I just love listening to you. And I can tell you folks, I've just watched her just pick up things and just go with it. Paula is going to try everything. She's going to learn. She's going to read, and she doesn't just read, she takes action. So, Paula, really, you're an inspiration, absolute inspiration. So, what has been the greatest impact on your business since COVID? So, November, I know we had lockdowns and different. What has been the greatest impact
Whew.
of COVID on
Um,
your business?
there's been a lot, because remember, real estate is a contact is a contact industry. You have to meet people, you have to show people properties, you have to walk them through the
Mhm.
process. There's a lot of contact, there's a lot of face to face. So that was when the pandemic hit. I sat down and I thought to myself, what am I going to do what am I going to do? I had to brainstorm because listen, it I was I must tell you, I was scared. I was not only scared about the pandemic and all that. I don't need to go through all of that, but as it pertains to my business, I was, if you don't get out there, you have to figure a way to get out there. You have to, because if I am locked in my house, how are people going to do business with me? I have to figure it out. I have to say, all right, LinkedIn, I must admit, LinkedIn is my bread and butter, but I had been distancing myself from LinkedIn a little bit because I was looking at other ways to get out there and to, make contact, physical contact with these persons. So at one time I flew out and I went to diaspora functions overseas, to meet with persons looking to return home and all of that. So I was doing that before the pandemic. So that was curtailed. So I went back to LinkedIn and I was like, you know what, I need to contact all these people. And I just kept on reaching out. Like I would see Marcia come up in my feed and I was like, not to say you, Marcia, but I would see someone come up in my feed and I said, you know what, I don't think I've ever spoken to this person, even though I'm connected to them. So I said, let me say hi. Hi, Marcia. How are you doing? How's the day? How's the weather? Are you on lockdown? Where are you? And you spark a conversation. You never know. And then I sparked about a 3,000 of these conversations. Bear in mind that I have 8,000 plus connections on LinkedIn. And when I started LinkedIn, before I started LinkedIn before I got into real estate, but after I got into real estate, I really focused in on LinkedIn. So my aim was to get 500, because at that time you would say 500 plus. So I was like, I only had 300 connections at the time. So I was like, I want to get to 500 plus. So I went into LinkedIn and I started to send invitations to everybody. Everybody that I think was somebody. I was going to invite anybody. I just wanted to talk to, because you never know who people are. Maybe they have up something, maybe a remote as their work on LinkedIn, but they just haven't updated it. Maybe they don't even work there anymore. So I said, you know what, let me just connect. I wanted to see 500 plus. So at that time, I don't know how many invitations I sent out, but I knew when the dust settled, I was like at 4,000 connections or 3,000 connections. And then I was determined I wasn't going to send out any more invitations, because LinkedIn had reached out to me and said I'm sending out too much invitations. So I stopped sending out invitation, and then the other rest, I didn't send out invitations for years. Like, unless I knew you, if I met you at a networking event, then I would connect with you on LinkedIn. I didn't want to connect on Facebook. I didn't want to connect on Instagram. I wanted to connect on LinkedIn, because if I met you at, let's say, a PSOJ networking event or an action coach event, because I have a lot of action coach people on my LinkedIn now from all of the times I went to Action Club or Growth Club or so I always connected with those people. So I always, once you meet someone in person, I connect with them on LinkedIn. So after about getting to 3,000 connections, I zoned in and only connected with people I physically had met. And then I just continue. Like, if I see Marcia come up and it's Marcia's birthday, I say, happy birthday, Marcia. All of that. If I have your number in my phone, I pick up the phone and I'll call you. And I said, I know it's your birthday. I know you're busy, but happy birthday. I just saw it come up on LinkedIn and I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. If it's someone that I know where they work, I've met them face to face, maybe I'll even send them a little thing. You can send them nothing expensive, like a bottle of champagne or something. Send them something. Like, I know in persons like attorneys or so, and I saw that it's their birthday on LinkedIn. I know where their office is. I have a little batch of cards that say happy birthday. You can buy them on Amazon. You write a little note in there, Marcia, happy birthday, just take this little champagne or something. And then like when I have clients, I all during the process I try to I'll reach out to them and say, "What's your favorite restaurant or whatever?" You could ask them, "What's your favorite champagne? What's your favorite whiskey? What's their this? What's their that?" I've bought weekends at hotels. Yeah, for those types of clients.
Top clients.
You want to leave because everybody does it. If you have a client at a certain level, you have to rise to that level to get noticed. So if you have a client, you close a big deal with them, a little bottle of champagne is just not going to do, right? Marcel is not gonna do. So you have to think of innovative ways. That I just closed a deal recently. It's a LinkedIn deal, and it came from me just wishing a man happy birthday. So I wished him happy birthday. We started up a conversation. He responded and he said, "Thank you, Paula." And I was like, "So how was it?" Blah blah blah. And if you ever need any assistance with real estate, please feel free to reach out to me. And a few weeks later, he called me directly because my number is all over LinkedIn. If you go on my profile, it's there like 50 times. So every other paragraph is you can call me and my number. So he called me and he told me that his aunt and uncle wanted to downsize their house up in Stony Hill. So I said, okay, no problem. Give them my number and let them call me and we'll arrange a meeting, blah, blah, blah. That's how I sold one of a really sizable listing in Stony Hill just through LinkedIn, just to wishing happy birthday to someone. So, once that deal closed, I had to give him a special gift to express my gratitude and to let him know that if anybody else needs any assistance with selling anything else, that they can always reach out to me. And
Well,
I gave them top-notch
Paula,
service.
Paula, I could listen to you all day. I mean, I want you to hear that what Paula does, she does, she's committed and she's disciplined to build that kind of network and to keep doing that, and the attention and the details. Paula
Hmm.
says Jamaica is differentiating herself. She's giving great service. But what I love is just how you very methodically have worked your connections, how you know what is working,
Hmm.
what isn't, and you just keep focusing. Marketing is one of those things, lead generation, that Paula has consistently given her focus to. And one of the things, you can finish the sentence with me, Paula. Brad always says words can inspire and thoughts provoke,
But
but
only
what?
action. Only
Only
action.
action brings you closer to
Also,
your
yeah.
dreams.
Only
Oh
action. You
boy.
have to take action.
Paula, if there is anything that you have taught any entrepreneur here today listening to you, and I know they're riveted as they listen to you, as they look at you, as they hear in your voice the passion, as they hear in your
Hmm.
voice the determination, as they see someone who is just taking action despite the challenges, that you're going to keep moving. And where are you learning this from? From the books that you're reading.
Hmm.
You're saying, I need you're soaking up everything so that you can apply it. You don't just learn it, as Brad says, you learn, but you also have to take the action.
Take
So there's one
action.
more thing I wanted to say, Paula, is that smart people learn from their mistakes, and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what
Hmm.
mistakes did you make along the way, and how can other entrepreneurs learn from your experience? So you may just want, maybe one or two mistakes that you made that you want to tell everybody, listen, learn from this.
I think the biggest mistake I've ever made in my career before I was a business owner, well, independent contractor to now business owner, is consistency. Um, I think a lot of people underplay the importance of consistency, but it's it's the key. Like, anybody ever asks me what's the key to success, I would have to say consistency. um
Mhm.
if you, let's say, you do all your test and measuring, you know that something works, right? You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. All right, so my YouTube channel is a great example of that. It's now number 2 when it comes to getting me business, but it wasn't always number 2. It was way down the line because I was not consistent. So I started posting videos in 2014, and I got leads and listings and sales from YouTube over the years, over about a 5-year period, but I was not consistent. I would put up a video this month, and then 3, 4 months pass, or even longer, no video from me. And then I put up another video, no video from me. And then I remember YouTube had reached out to me and told me that I was right on the cusp of becoming a YouTube partner, which is when ads run on your videos, and you get money. You are paid for people watching your
Wow.
videos. And I remember, as I had hit it in 2017, they changed the qualifications. So in 2017, all you had to have is 10,000 views across your channel, and then you would become a part of the YPP, which is a YouTube Partner Program. And as
Mhm.
I was about to get registered, I had hit the 10,000 views, and I was about to get registered. They changed it to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, not minutes, hours. So somebody has to watch your channel for a minimum of 4,000 hours. And it sounds difficult because it is very difficult. So at that time in 2017, when I got that news, that email, I was very discouraged. I stopped YouTube for almost 2 years. I wasn't posting on it. I was still in real estate. I went back to LinkedIn full time and just focused all my energy on there and was doing business on there. And then in 2019, just before the pandemic hit, I said, you know what? May 2019, I need to get consistent on YouTube. I need to start posting videos every single week. There's 52 weeks in a year, Marcia. So my goal was to post one video every single week for 52 weeks. I started in the
Wow.
January, and I couldn't keep up. I couldn't, because I'm a full-time real estate agent. I have a family. I just couldn't keep up because, you have to film the video, edit the video, post the video, promote the video, all different type of stuff. I was not consistent, so I fell back. May 2019 rolled around, and I had a little, every business has ebbs and flows. So I had a little downtime, and I said in 2019, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go again. This is like my fifth attempt at YouTube consistency, and I said I'm gonna go again. So I decided that May 2019, I renewed my New Year resolution, and I'm going to go again. And I started out, and it took me exactly 1 year, in or from May 2019 to May 2020, to get my 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and qualify for the YouTube Partner Program by posting consistently. And the funniest thing is, Marcia, I mastered it. I mastered it. I did what they call batching. So I would sit down from morning till night on a specific day. I would write out scripts and stuff for my YouTube video. And then the next day, I would film videos from morning till night. And then I would have, over the course of about 2 weeks, I would sit down and edit like 4 to 6 videos. And then I would have about 4 weeks of videos, because some videos, after I watched them over, I said, this is not great quality. I have to start over. And some videos I ended up throwing away in the trash and never posting them. So if I did 6, I would make sure that I had 4 that were good quality, that at the time, with my level of of everything, because YouTube is a long game. You have to know how to present on camera. Every time you present on camera, you get better. Every time you edit your video, you get better. Every time you script a video, you get better, because there's a little part around the back of the YouTube studio that teaches you like where people lose interest in your video, where they fall off of your video. So you know, like if you do something, I used to have an intro like Paula sells Jamaica intro, and I realized that like 30-40% of the people who clicked on the video when that intro came on, they just left the video. So I cut out the intro. I don't have any intros on my video anymore. Or if I see that I do stuff and a lot of people come off, like you can go into the YouTube studio and you can see exactly where people dislike your video or they leave the video. And you can say, all right, I say this word too much and people don't seem to like it, so I need to stop saying that word. Or if I do this thing and people don't like it, and I see that every video when that thing comes on, they click off, you learn not to do that. So every time you just consistency, you just and test and measure and everything you do. I'm just using YouTube as an example, but this is like life, real life. So the only why I love YouTube, why I've grown to love YouTube, is because it's instant. So instant advertising, I've read that book about 3 times, and it has actually been a catalyst on my YouTube channel, because I think I read it the first time last year when I did a little what's the thing called? I did it with you where you go over my business and you it's like a mini, you call it a mini assessment. Remember last year you
Yes,
were giving
yes.
away
Yeah,
free,
your
you
business
were giving,
background. Oh, the
and you
assessment
told
with
me,
this.
yes, and you told me that, oh, I need to read these books, I need to read these handouts, and I went to your office and I bought the books and stuff. So that was the first time I got instant advertising. So I was reading it before I did Growth Action Club earlier this year.
Yeah.
And then I've read that book about 3 times, and every time I read that book, something else pops out, like blinding. Finish it for me.
Flashes of the
Blinding,
obvious. BFOs.
blinding flashes of the obvious. Yeah, so sometimes you're reading something and it doesn't really click, and then you read it again and you say, "Oh my god!" Like last night, I was reading this book. It's now one of my
Millionaire
favorites.
training.
Yes,
Yeah. You're Brad
I
Sugar's
was
best
reading.
friend now, I'm sure.
Yes, I was reading this book, Marcia, and my husband had to ask me, "What's wrong with you?" I was dying laughing. I was it was hilarious. None of his books made me laugh like this one. This one, I think like it's my favorite book outside of advertising, and that would advertising is my favorite one because I've read it so many times. But that one last night was hilarious. When he kept on saying everybody knows what a job is, just above broke. So every time he did it, and he's like, I need to stop beating this dog, but let me continue our beating this point. So, he goes over stuff a lot in his books until you get it. So that's what I like as well. So, anyways, I kept on reading
Consistency is something.
exactly. I kept on reading instant advertising, and it has actually helped me with my YouTube channel and staying consistent. So when my business is low, like not much activity going on, especially like in lockdown, I have more time to focus on YouTube and LinkedIn and generating business. So that book has actually helped me in trying to write ad copy. And like, because when you do the titles of your videos or you do certain things in your videos, you can learn how to trigger people to call you. And every time I read the book, I said, all right, maybe I should try this way of trying to trigger people to get in contact with me and do more business. So every time I read the book, I see changes in my business. I see more of my avatar people trying to contact me, and I just keep on. So consistency is I think is the key to success. Like if you're determined, just make sure that you're going in the right direction and you're taking the right steps, and then become consistent. Because I think there's a quote that says a river, like when a river is like making its path, it doesn't do it overnight, or it does it by being consistent. Like every day it just
Till it
takes a little,
turns.
takes a little, takes a little, and then it takes over the place. So it's
Yeah, the
not about
stream turns into a brook and then it turns into a river by just being consistently, just keep flowing, and it
consistent.
keeps digging
Yeah,
deeper and deeper until it gets wider and stronger.
yeah.
Well,
So
boy,
maybe, yeah.
Paula, we are on time, but
Mhm.
Paula, I want to say thank you. I really want to say thank you. Um, you're such a courageous woman. You know, as I listen to you, you're just determined. You're going to take action. You're going to be consistent. You learn and apply. I think you should be a coach one day, but we can have another conversation. But Paula, I really wish you all the best. I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It's been a pleasure just listening to you. What she spoke about was our complimentary coaching session. And when she came in, and I said to her, okay, you need to buy the 5 pillars. You need to also to business mastery. You need to get this book. Paula just went straight on and she just bought it and she just got the books. And then she just kept saying, okay, what else do I need to do? Okay, I need to go into Action Club. I need to do this. And she just kept going. Paula comes to Growth Club for planning. She went through the Action Club group coaching series. Paula says, what next? Folks, you cannot
Mhm.
grow a business that is bigger than your thinking. And you have to learn and apply everything. And you have to test and measure, as Paula said. So, Paula, I really want to thank you. And, folks, I do hope that you were truly inspired. I am truly inspired. I mean, when you hear what Paula did for YouTube, I mean, down to what works, when it is said, I mean, I'm like, what? So I'm saying, whatever she goes after, just like LinkedIn, she masters it. She go to YouTube, she masters it. What that means is consistency and depth.
Mhm.
So, Paula, I wish you all the best. I know I'll see you in their different programs, Growth Club, everything else. You're going to continue growing, and we are going to be there right by your side. So it has been a pleasure, folks. Rewatch this. It's on YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and our Facebook group, We Build Successful Businesses. Listen to what she said. Get up, be consistent, and take action. So for now, have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you for our next episode. Take care.